Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubianette. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Everyone, this story is heartbreaking, disturbing, and infuriating. And it definitely deserves to be told with truth, clarity, and a lot of sensitivity because it focuses on children. Now, let's talk about betrayal, everyone. And this is not the kind that just stings. This is a kind that shatters communities for generations. Judge James Benjamin Gosnell Jr., who is a longtime magistrate in Charleston County, South Carolina, he was supposed to be the one protecting us from predators. Instead, he allegedly became one of the worst kind. Now, federal agents arrested 68-year-old Judge Gosnell after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which led them to a digital trail. So you know that the feds, they definitely will watch you for a very long time in order to get their receipts or evidence. Now, everyone, they found payments linked to this judge's phone, email, and home address. And they were all tied to a known distributor of child sexual abuse material in the UK. Now, perhaps he thought because he had, information or a network in the UK, it wouldn't be easily found, but thankfully they traced him, they tracked him. Now, when they searched his home, they uncovered a flash drive with immense amount of videos and images that were so vile. I hope you're sitting down. Now, it's hard to say this out loud, but on this flash drive, there were infants, toddlers, young adolescent children in sexually explicit situations, and it didn't even stop there. That was a huge mouthful, everyone. Now, investigators also seized Judge Gosnell's iPhone, which allegedly contained telegram messages where he admitted to abusing children. He wasn't just watching, but he was actively participating. And they said he targeted kids in his own neighborhood. This is why, everyone, be very careful. Those of you who have children, make sure if someone is becoming too friendly with you, and especially they want to be so friendly with your children, they want to give them gifts, they want to spend time with them alone or even offer, time to even babysit or watch them or take them here or there. Just refuse, 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 refuse. It's for the best to prevent any crimes from happening. So this judge, he even traveled to Mexico for this purpose. And he was allegedly planning to take a trip to Florida to do it all over again. So this man, as a judge, as you know his role, his prominent role in society, he sat in judgment over other people. He issued warrants and he decided who was locked up. And now he's behind bars himself, suspended by the South Carolina Supreme Court, which said his continued service, in quotes, would pose a substantial threat of serious harm to the public and the administration of justice, end of quotes. So this, it baffles me, when someone has a long-standing role in society like this, especially where they have this, huge responsibility over other people's lives and their destiny, and they're committing the crime. And you know what? It really doesn't matter what position someone has, what authority, and of course, not the amount of money they have. Everyone should be looked at. Everyone should be basically focused on and observed, because I'm sure he had his position for many, many years. And this is the reason why he was able to get away with it. So let's continue. So, to the community and especially for parents, the federal authorities are begging. They're reaching out to anyone whose child may have come in contact with Judge Gosnell. And this is even if this man held your baby, that you need to reach out. It's disgusting, disgraceful, again, heart wrenching for all the amount of children that was in this man's, not only his care, but even in his presence. Because again, these predators, they put themselves in situations, in the roles, in jobs where they can have, you know, access to children. And this is, again, not only school children, not only, you know, adolescents or teenagers, even infants. So imagine, I don't know the full history, his family history, but imagine if he was a relative and he's holding your baby, you know? And you wouldn't even think that a grown man, you don't want to think that a grown man would be so ill-minded, with any children, but even babies. It's just horrible. And I'm so happy. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for people who are diligent with their jobs and they have strong work ethics so that they can, give the information out to the public and make these people accountable. So we definitely need to stop pretending that monsters only look like monsters. Because YouTube family, this is a huge case where these monsters, they wear robes. These monsters, they sit on benches and they can smile in your face while hurting the most vulnerable people among us. So if you're a neighbor, for this man, this demon, I should say, if you were a parent that he knew and he had any contact with your child, if you were his so called friend, definitely check in with the federal officials. Please give them any accounts of this man being in close proximity to your child. And even people, unfortunately, teens who even went to jail or who even, were under his, any type of situation where he had power over them. You have to watch it. That's the reason why every single person needs to be observed, like I said, or even scrutinized. We all have to protect the babies. We have to protect the children. It's so many news, these days, unfortunately, so many cases these days where, children are being violated, unfortunately. And we have to make sure that this is not a norm. We cannot have this normalized. We have to protect children at all costs. So if you're hurting from this news, you are not alone, because I definitely feel very hurt by this as well. This man has, as you can see, he's a grown man, grandfather type, and he's doing these horrible acts. But it really doesn't matter chronologically, because mentally, if someone is not fully there, or if someone is basically, he has a power to manipulate people and to, again, gain access to people. This is unfortunately how some people operate. So please make sure that you are finding, if you know of any survivors of, someone who has been abused or violated by someone, please make sure that you help them with resources. Give them information that's beneficial to them so they can, get counseling, seek a therapist, and also, talk about the situation with, or talk about the crime with an expert, a professional, because we all need to work together. This is horrific. And it's not only a scandal, YouTube family, this is a huge wound. I don't even know how long he has been doing this. But again, we know that judges have a lot of power. And unfortunately, so many people who are even professional, people who are educated, adults, they usually turn a blind eye to someone who's a judge or people who have this type of authority, and they should not be. We have to be vigilant, we have to be paying attention. And if someone commits a crime, they need to be held accountable like anyone else. So everyone, what are your thoughts about this, horrific crime? Have you heard of this news story? And, do you have any feedback? I would like to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Stay safe. And if you have children, please make sure you're observant and you are, near your children, you know their whereabouts at all times, and build good communication with your children and even children in your family. Because kids are very innocent, and unfortunately these type of demons, they'll prey on them. But again, thank you once again. Stay safe and have your head on a swivel.